Welcome to State of Events,
where we keep you up to date on the latest Bay Area news. I'm Krista Williamson.
And I'm Lauren Martinez. Our top story tonight is the dying oak trees. From giant sequoias to prickly pines, California is filled with trees not seen anywhere else. But sudden oak death is infecting our green beauties. State of Events reporter Nicole Landon went into the foothills to see what the sap was all about.
It's trees define California's beauty, but one tree that isn't looking too good is the oak. 376,000 oak trees across the coastal regions have fallen to sudden oak death this year. That's a 10% increase from last year's 38,000. Sudden oak death is caused by a pathogen that is spread through rainwater, then absorbed by the tree. Counties across the Bay Area are working hard to prevent the spread of the pathogen. There are 14 counties between Carmel Valley and Saratoga that have been infected. Back in 2007, 380,000 oak trees died, making it the largest oak tree death. Wet springs contribute to this epidemic.
During the winter months, if you're in an area that's infected and you're walking around, we can pick up spores from the bottom of that person's shoes nearly 100% of the time. Whereas during the summer, you almost never get it.
Oaks that are infected break and fail at a much higher rate, causing hazardous conditions. Firefighters are taking extra caution.
And there's a lot of brush around and trees haven't been taken care of and trimmed up. Obviously, they're going to be more at risk for catching fire and spreading the fire.
Sudden oak death has only affected 10% of the forest floor, but is still put on high alert. Reporting in Placerville for State of Events, I'm Nicole Landon.
Reinstated San Francisco Sheriff Ross Mikarimi is back to work this week. Mikarimi wants to put the past behind him and move on after a 10-month battle to remain sheriff. But supervisors Eric Marr and Malia Cohen have just introduced domestic violence legislation to bring to the board. This will ask the Department of the Status of Women to discuss domestic violence with city employees. This could result in a recall election for sheriff.
You've probably been seeing a lot of campaigns for Proposition 30 and 32 in the last few weeks, but it's hard to decide whether to vote for or against these propositions without knowing what they are. Our Bia Roldan is here to tell you a little more about it.
Yes, Lauren, Proposition 30 is actually an initiative to raise taxes on those who earn more than $250,000. It'll also raise sales taxes by 1/4 cent. On the other hand, Proposition 32 will ban unions and corporations from using automatic payroll deductions to support their political interests.
Here at San Francisco State, California Faculty Association and CSU union members are urging people to vote yes on 30 and no on 32. The CFA and CSU union members are for Prop 30 because of the promise that if it passes, there will be more funding for education across the board, including colleges and universities.
It'll restore what was cut from us over the last few years. But if 30 fails, we will lose additional money to the tune of millions of dollars to the CSU.
But those who are against Proposition 30 say that more revenue does not guarantee that there will be more money for education.
Smoke and mirrors. The LA Times says the higher taxes aren't really earmarked for schools, and the independent legislative analyst says the money can pay for other budget programs. No on Prop 30. We'll never know where the money really goes.
Those who urge a yes vote on Proposition 32 say that it will stop special interest politics.
The special interest killed a bill that would have sensibly streamlined how school districts fire child molesters and drug users. Don't be fooled. Special interests want to keep control of the politicians in Sacramento, and Proposition 32 prevents that.
The CFA and the CSU union say that people should vote no because Proposition 32 only takes away the voice of union members and leaves loopholes for big businesses.
Because corporations do not use membership dues to do their political advocating. They have huge funds that they can tap into, and it would only be unions that really would be blocked from having.
They say students should care about these issues because they will be affected.
And then it's harder for students to graduate because some classes won't be offered when they're supposed to be offered.
Voter information table will be at Malcolm X every day from noon to 2 p.m. until the very last day before Election Day. If you want to learn more about Proposition 30 and Proposition 32, or the other propositions that will be on the ballot, you can go to the tabling, or you can go to www.sos.ca.gov. Live from San Francisco State University, Bea Roldan for State of Events. Back to you.
Thanks, Bea. California voters will have a lot to consider this upcoming election. One measure deals with how their food is labeled. Julie George has the story on Prop 37.
Calorie count, fat content, serving size, genetically modified? If passed, Prop 37 plans on adding one more label to the foods we purchase.
On Election Day, voters will get the chance to decide whether their groceries should contain a certain label, and that is genetically modified or not.
Making its way on the November 6th ballot, Prop 37 would require a label on foods made from plants and animals that have been genetically altered. Under this measure, genetically altered food can still be grown, created, and sold. It just has to say so. CrossFit trainer Shannon Thompson works hard at a healthy lifestyle and likes the idea of genetically modified foods requiring a label.
I don't want to eat pesticides. I don't want to eat a factory-made product. I want to eat food. And food spoils and food goes bad. And the more that we change it and put stuff into it, it's not food anymore.
Many students at San Francisco State supported the idea of Prop 37.
Whether something is genetically modified or not, I don't think it should be concealed. Why does somebody have to hide that?
While many students still had questions about the measure.
Who's paying for that when this gets put into place? Are taxes for companies going up to help kind of, abate part of the costs, or who is really going to be putting that money out there? If it is for our public safety, it does make sense that we would have to put some money towards it, but I don't think the fiscal responsibility should fall entirely upon, the constituency.
Prop 37 passes, California will be the first state to require such labels on their food. Tom Fenley, the political director of Prop 37, is hopeful California will be the first. In an email interview, Fenley said, "When we win this right in California, there will be an increased pressure on the FDA and other individual states to follow suits." Reporting in San Francisco, I'm Julie George with State of Events.
Coming up after the break, we have Brittany Young with information from the vice presidential debate.
And later in the show, we'll tell you about Halloween costumes that could be as deadly as they look.
Chances of playing in the NFL, 1 in 1,500. Chances of becoming a pop star, 1 in 3,000. Chances of becoming a Hollywood actor, 1 in 5,000. Chances of getting into a school of your choice are better than 4 in 5. First round enrollment. It's for your family's future.
Guess what? What? My mom just finished enrolling me in school and I just can't wait to start. My dad just took me shopping to buy everything I need for school. My mom says I'm going to learn a whole bunch of new exciting things. What about you? I don't know. My mom hasn't filled out the application yet.
You have the tools, you have the power. You can help your child by completing the enrollment application on time today.
Welcome back. The second presidential debate between Mitt Romney and President Barack Obama will air tonight at 6 p.m. Just weeks ago, President Barack Obama held a substantial lead, but the latest polls show the race nearly deadlocked. Obama's advisors say since Mitt Romney has momentum on his side, this means the president will be more aggressive. The town hall-style debate will be held at Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. Moderator Candy Crowley of CNN will select the questions. Crowley says the town hall format could keep both candidates from being overly aggressive.
And now we'll turn to Brittany Young for a look back at the vice presidential debate and how SFSU students are analyzing the presidential election.
Thanks, Krista. Just a few nights ago, on October 11th, the Vice President Joe Biden and Republican VP candidate Paul Ryan met in Danville, Kentucky for the vice presidential debate. At Centre College, the two candidates discussed topics of foreign and domestic policies. Here's what an SFSU student had to say about the debate.
I definitely think that Biden came off as more experienced. It's obvious that Joe Biden has been around a lot longer.
When both candidates gave the audience a lot to think about. It seems that the televised debates are becoming popular social gatherings among young adults. SFSU students are doing their part to become more informed before casting their votes.
I think it's important for voters to be informed about what the candidates want to do before actually voting. Although I don't think that the debate should be the only thing voters base their opinion off of. I think they should have the whole scheme of what the candidates would want.
Join San Francisco State students and tune in to the second presidential debate tonight beginning at 6 p.m. We'll have more election coverage for you next week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brittany. Pizza Hut is backing out of a PR stunt that is getting a lot of criticism. The pizza company asked attendees at today's town hall presidential debate to ask President Obama and Mitt Romney if they preferred sausage or pepperoni on their pizza. Anyone who posted the question was guaranteed free pizza for life. After getting negative responses on blogs and in the media, Pizza Hut has changed its question to be asked just online instead of the actual debate. Coming up after the break, Emma Gribben will tell you what's going on around the world.
And later, we'll tell you about a meningitis outbreak spreading across the country. Stay with us.
Small businesses are facing expensive energy bills. Much of this expense is generated from lighting. In fact, inefficient lighting can cost small business owners more than they may realize. Don't let your lights burn more than electricity. Let smart lights help you save money, and let the money work for you, not your energy bills. Smart lights, brighten your bottom line. A joint program of the cities of Berkeley and Oakland.
Welcome back. An outbreak of meningitis has so far killed 15 people and spread to 200 others. Federal authorities are warning that more tainted drugs may be linked to this outbreak. The FDA is investigating the cause of fungal meningitis to other drugs made by a Massachusetts pharmacy, the New England Compounding Center. The FDA is warning patients across the country that they may have been exposed to fungal infection. 2 other drugs are being investigated since its license was violated. The center is involved in a drug compounding practice that is not regulated by the FDA.
Chief Executive of Citigroup, Vikram Pandit, surprised the company by announcing his departure. Pandit led the bank through 3 government bailouts. Pandit's latest plan to boost payouts to investors was rejected by regulators. Pandit is leaving Citigroup after 5 years with the bank. Michael Corbat will be the new CEO. Corbat has been with Citigroup since 1983. One of Citigroup's banks, Citi Holdings, still has over $170 billion of toxic assets.
Samsung was found guilty by a federal court for infringing on Apple's patents. A California district court banned the sales of the Galaxy back in June. Samsung took the appeal to the courts to overturn the ban. The courts decided in Samsung's favor, saying that the California court was biased against Samsung. Apple and Samsung were both unavailable for comment.
European regulators are ordering both Google and Facebook to comply with their new privacy policy. Google has been ordered to make it easier for users to opt out of it. The U.S. company had months to make the changes or face legal action. As for Facebook, they recently agreed to delete all its facial recognition data from European users because of privacy concerns. Facebook said it would turn off the automatic tagging feature to existing users in Europe by October 15th. The move comes after a review of the feature, which automatically suggests the names of people for tagging uploaded photos. According to media reports, a Facebook official says the company plans to bring the tagging function back once it completely complies with the European Union rules.
One teenager's suicide is forcing new forms of education in Canada. We go to Emma Gribben, who has your world update. Emma?
Thanks, Krista. A Canadian teen's suicide has lawmakers considering a new anti-bullying initiative. Canadian Parliament members are expected to consider a plan to create a national bullying prevention strategy. All of this comes after 15-year-old Amanda Todd killed herself in her British Columbia home. Before her death, she posted a chilling YouTube video detailing the never-ending bullying she suffered. The proposed strategy calls for a study of bullying in the country. It includes increased funding and support for bullying prevention organizations. The Afghan counter-narcotics police burned more than 24 tons of drugs on Sunday. Afghan authorities say the drugs were seized in and around the capital during the past 9 months. These illegal substances included drugs, drug-making chemicals, alcohol, and even raisins that can be used to make alcohol. Police stood by applauding, showing their support of the Afghan government's drug interdiction work. Taliban gunmen in Pakistan shot and wounded a teenage children's rights activist as she was walking home from school. The 14-year-old girl is known for rallying for the education of girls. Officials say she was shot twice along with another girl. Her wounds are not life-threatening. The Taliban has taken responsibility, calling the girl's work obscenity. That's what's going on around the globe. I'm Emma Gribben. Back to you.
Thanks, Emma. Will San Francisco eventually host the Super Bowl?
This and your weekend update is coming up next right after the break.
What if we could make a difference with every cup of coffee we drink? With Fair Trade certified coffee, we can. Look for this label where you buy your coffee.
At first, I was a bit hesitant to try it.
To tell you the truth, I didn't think I'd fit in. But I kept pushing her and she ended up loving it.
I was surprised. It was an amazing experience.
And now we do it at least twice a month.
I've even gotten most of my friends to do it.
If you do it enough, you can get a great deal on the price.
Why didn't we think of this before?
It's a stimulating experience.
The Z-Space Studio.
Word for word.
Z-Space Studio, word for word, stimulation guaranteed. See you at the theater.
Austrian skydiver Felix Baumgartner has broken world records on a live stunt streamed on YouTube. Over 8 million people tuned into the site to watch the stunt, the largest number of live streams in YouTube's history. His stunt? Free fall. Baumgartner was carried up 24 miles in the air by a giant helium balloon to a capsule where he jumped. It took Baumgartner 9 minutes to reach the ground. He fell at a speed of 833 miles per hour. Baumgartner's heartbeat, respiration, skin temperature, and other vital signs were wirelessly transmitted from a monitor on his chest. Part of the stunt was to show the passing through the Earth's atmosphere. In the future, this is going to help space programs.
You have got to see this, but you should know this guy is okay. Veteran base jumper in Norway Richard Henderson was set to perform a stunt for a TV show. As the host looked on, Henderson spun around the bar before the jump when the bar broke. His quick reflexes saved him. He almost hit a cliff below, but he did manage to open his parachute.
If you plan on being a pirate this Halloween, you might want to check where your costume was made. Federal inspectors have seized over 1,000 Chinese-made pirate costumes after high levels of lead were found in the buttons and the trim. If children put the buttons or trim in their mouths, they can be exposed to the toxic substance. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says the costumes had 11 times the legal limit for lead. The pirate outfits will be shipped to Seattle and destroyed.
Even though it's October, companies like Amazon are getting a head start on the holidays. The online retailer announces their plans of seasonal hiring of 50,000 workers. Amazon did not specify types of positions it's hiring for just yet. As of last week, U.S. retailers, including restaurants, plan to hire over 400,000 seasonal workers. That's a 5-year high for seasonal hiring.
Will San Francisco be chosen to host the Super Bowl? City leaders are waiting to hear from the NFL to see if San Francisco could be in the running. If selected, the game would be played at the new stadium in Santa Clara in either 2016 or 2017. San Francisco will be competing against other NFL teams. The league favors new stadiums, so the odds are better for the Bay Area to host the Super Bowl. Santa Clara Mayor Jamie Matthews says potentially hosting the Super Bowl will be a good payoff for both San Francisco and Santa Clara.
Justin Bieber's naked pictures leaked. Is Kim Kardashian pregnant? Beer, reggae, and stripper poles this weekend? Christina Reyes exposes the latest gossip and what this weekend has in store. Christina?
Thanks, Krista. Justin Bieber has been through a lot these past couple of weeks.
First, the purge heard all over the world, and now his stolen laptop. The laptop thief threatened the Beeps to post his naked pics on Twitter. Turns out that the file that was uploaded was his new music video with Nicki Minaj called Beauty and the Beat. Halloween is just right around the corner, and the busty Kim Kardashian wants to celebrate it right now. The reality star uploaded a picture of her in her caddy costume. Speaking of Kim K, did you know she's pregnant? Okay, she isn't, but Reggie Bush's girlfriend is. Lilith Avagyan, Kim K's lookalike, has been confirmed to be 3 months pregnant. The couple are thrilled for their new bundle of joy. Someone who isn't too happy about it brings me back to Kim Kardashian. I mean, after 2 divorces and dating Kanye, Reggie Bush is definitely the one who's winning. Enough about gossip. Let me fill you in on some activities that can get you off your couch. Get your groove shoes ready and your hips warmed up because the 2nd annual Reggae Festival will be held this Saturday at 12 p.m. on Fillmore at O'Farrell. What's better than playing drinking games? Getting cheap beers to playing those drinking games for free. The San Francisco Beer Olympics is here. It will also be held this Saturday at 498 Broadway Street at 8:30 p.m. Flip cup, relays, and beer pongs are just a few games that will be played. It's a good way to meet new people and to have a yeasty good time. Could the weekend get any better? Actually, it can. Let's add stripper poles and gorgeous women. For my risque viewers, the Masqueradica is teasing its way to San Francisco this weekend. Stripper pole and costume contest sounds very seducing, and this event is 21 and up. For more information on this event and ticket prices, go to www.masqueradica.com. Whatever you decide to do this busy weekend, always surround yourself with good company. Back to you.
Thanks, Christina. Coming up, find out whether we'll have another week of sunshine.
After the break, meteorologist Jared Jotnitty will give you your 7-day forecast.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time.
Camera 1.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Don't pack away those swimsuits in winter storage just yet because winter in San Francisco will be getting a little bit warmer. Chief Meteorologist Jared Jotnitty has your latest weather forecast. But first, he'll give you an update on the tornadoes over in France. Jared?
Thanks, Krista. It looks like autumn has now hit across Europe. Weather has drastically changed from being dry to wet and windy. A surprising and dangerous scene in southeastern France, a tornado formed over a shopping center near Marseille. The twister blew through the area on Sunday afternoon while it was packed with shoppers. Several roofs were peeled off and billboards were knocked down. Fortunately, there were no deaths. Firefighters reported 25 people suffered minor injuries. And now taking a look at weather across the United States. If you want to look at the East Coast, we are experiencing highs up to 90 degrees and lows about 76 degrees. Midwest and South are experiencing highs of 60 and lows of about 50 degrees. East Coast highs of 54 and about lows of 49. If you want to look, the heat wave is affecting all the way from California all the way to Miami, if you can see that. And it's also affecting the 7-day forecast here in San Francisco. If you want to see Wednesday and Thursday, we will have highs of 90, 92 on Thursday. Go out and see a 49ers game or a Giants game. That's going to head into Friday with a high of 84 degrees. Saturday and Sunday, we'll start seeing weather decline, degrees getting a little bit cooler with clouds rolling in, topping out the beginning of the work week next week on Monday and Tuesday, 72 and 70 degrees, lows of about 68 degrees on Tuesday. So don't pack away those umbrellas or your coats because you will be needing them on the beginning of next week's work week. So that's going to do it for weather today. I'm Jared Jotnitty. Back to you, Krista and Lauren.
Thanks, Jared. That's it for State of Events. To stay in the loop, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Tune in next week for more of the latest news from around the Bay Area.